Hello guys, welcome back to some more Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. This is the final part. This is where I go and see Aqua's fate. But before that though, I want to speak on the entire Roxas and Ventus thing. Why does Roxas look like Ventus? And this is the question I've been wondering about this question for so long. Since I started this game, I've wondered, why does Roxas look like Ventus? And I didn't understand it. And even when I finished through Ventus' story, I didn't understand it. But after I've gone back and watched some cutscenes from the beginning of the game, and at the end of Ventus' playthrough, I've learned some things, and I wanted to do a little bit of an explanation here at the start of this. Actually, this might be its own separate video instead of going into my Let's Play. So yeah, anyway, why does Roxas look like Ventus? So we have to backtrack a bit to the beginning of Ventus. So Ventus met Xehanort, and Xehanort ripped his darkness away to create Ventus. We all remember this, right? So Ventus became a heart of pure light, and Ventus became pure darkness, basically. But as Xehanort said in his reports, Ventus took too much out of Ventus' heart. So Ventus needed to be stronger. Like, he needed Ventus to be stronger, so he brought him to his childhood place, the Destiny Islands. That's where Xehanort comes from. That's where he grew up. So he brought Ventus there and just chilled. And that was the beginning cutscene of the game. That was one of the first things that happened. So when he brought him there, right at the start of the game, there's a cutscene where Ventus is all alone in this weird place. If you remember, if you don't remember, go watch the first part and see what happened to Ventus. But there was a broken like cylinder and of light, and that was Ventus's heart. It was broken, and a heart came in and offered Ventus for help, and Ventus was like, yeah, sure. So that heart was a newborn heart, and it said that I'll fill your heart. And then Ventus' heart became whole again. It's not too far-fetched to assume that newborn heart is actually Sora, who was just born. At this time he's a baby, and he fixed Ventus' heart. But this still doesn't explain why Roxas looks like Ventus. Well, Ventus now has a full light heart, right? So at the end of Ventus' playthrough, well, before I get into that, why do I think it's Sora that healed his heart? I think it's Sora because when we met him as Aqua and as Terra, we met Sora and Riku as little kids. They might have been 4 or 5 years old when we met them. So it's not too far-fetched, I think, to think that Sora was newborn back when Xehanort took Ventus away from him. I think it makes sense. So anyway, at the end of Ventus' story, so if you don't know what happened at the end of Ventus' story, this is spoilers, obviously. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you've seen the end of Ventus' story. So at the end of Ventus' story, he fought Ventus. He destroyed the X-Plate, his own Keyblade got destroyed, and then he fell into some dark place, and he was like, oh, this place, I remember this place, it feels warm or whatever. Basically, Ventus went back to Sora's heart, the one that filled him. What I'm trying to say is basically, since this game's conclusion, and since Kingdom Hearts 1's start, Ventus was residing inside Sora's heart. And after the entire 2 hours of Kingdom Hearts 1 happened, you know, everything went to darkness and Ansem did his thingies, Kyrie's heart also went inside Sora's heart. So Sora now had 3 hearts, his own, Kyrie's, and Ventus's. At the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, Sora turned into a Heartless. Sora turned into a Heartless, that creates a nobody. A person with a strong heart, when he turns into a Heartless, he creates a nobody. That's Sora's shell. And that nobody is Roxas. But what happened to Ventus's heart? Kyrie's heart went back to Kyrie's body. Ventus's heart went to Roxas. And that's why Roxas looks like Ventus. So Sora in Kingdom Hearts 2, he only has 1 heart. He doesn't have Ventus's heart anymore. Ventus's heart has gone over to Roxas. And this actually explains a couple of things. The first thing this explains is why Roxas looks like Ventus and not Sora. Because we've seen tendencies of every nobody look like their master, their creator, their former selves. But that's not the case with Sora and Roxas. Another thing this explains is why in 358 over 2 days, Kingdom Hearts, Roxas seemed to have feelings, seemed to have emotions. And I'm not talking about like Demyx type of emotions where if you took away the guitar from Demyx, of course he'd be sad, he'd be angry, but Roxas was the only nobody to actually have emotions. And that's because he had a heart. That's why he's special. This explains another thing as well. Roxas can dual wield Keyblades. That's because he's not only Sora's nobody, but he also has the influence of Ventus. And that also explains why Sora was this special Keyblade wielder to begin with. He was influenced from Ventus. That's why Sora became a Keyblade person himself. Why didn't Riku get a Keyblade right away? Why was Sora the special one? Well, he's not special as we know now, but when we started Kingdom Hearts 1, we thought Sora special for having a Keyblade. But that's not really the case. Ventus was just in his heart influencing that effect. So I hope I managed to get my explanation out. I think this will be on its own separate video. I hope that explains. At least that's my theory of what happened. Oh, and also, why does Vanitas looks like Sora? I have a thought on that as well. I think it's because we've been told by Xehanort that Vanitas, when he was first born, he had no form, he had no self-shape. So when Sora filled Ventus' heart, at least I can assume that also had something to do with Vanitas, like it shaped him as well. So Sora filled up Ventus' heart, and so Vanitas took shape of Sora's face from when he was 15 years old, or when he was older. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think, if I'm wrong, tell me in the comment section about that, but I think that makes the best sense. This comes from me after researching a lot about I've gone back and read some Xehanort reports, I've seen some cutscenes, and this is the conclusion I've come down to of why Roxas looks like Ventus and why Sora looks like Vanitas. Hopefully that's a good explanation, or hopefully that's a good theory. I mean, I might be wrong, but that's what I gathered from the cutscenes. And let's actually get into Aqua's story, because I haven't finished this game yet. I actually have to finish Birth by Sleep. So this is the last hour of the game here. I'm gonna finish Birth by Sleep. I'm gonna see what happens to Aqua. Hopefully she doesn't get a sad ending, as like Terra did, or like Ventus did as well. I think Terra had the worse ending than Ventus, because wow, Terra sucked. But I hope Aqua has a good ending. I hope she at least doesn't die. Like, I hope she, I don't know, I I hope all goes well. But yeah, explanation over, I'd say.
Put an end to me.